Hello, good evening, and welcome to the LFC Daytrippers. This is instant match reaction. Another one-all draw, Kev.
Yeah.
A kind of polar opposite to last week. Played really, really well, but still only got a one-all draw.
Yeah, I know. Just give me 1 second there now. It's what it to me. I was frustrated watching it because did everything right, created enough chances, didn't take them, didn't work the keeper enough. We were good on the ball. Did everything right up to the final third, and it was either a laboured final pass, too much on a cross, not enough on a cross, and when the chances did come, didn't take them, and then it just went from bad to worse. It was just one of those. You know what I mean? You'd have them in a season. It just so happens we're having them right at the fucking start of the season. It's frustrating.
I think we spoke about it last night and maybe during the week, and we're wondering what way would they come out. And to be honest with you, they came out really, really well in the first half. Passing was on point, one and two touch passing. Even the diagonal balls were finding feet, and I thought, oh yeah, this is more like it. And I think, look, we had our couple of chances. I just think that the front three have yet to click properly. And I think I saw comments earlier on saying that we were just throwing balls into the box at height. So it's like we've kind of nearly adapted. Rather than whipping them across low, we've now started to try and accommodate Nunez being in there, and we're kind of crossing them in high. And Palace were just gobbling them up all night.
Yeah, I mean, look, it is what it is. I mean, we'll go back to it a sec, but you go back to the start. What did you make of the initial lineup? Because there was some shockers in there. Or some surprise, not shockers, surprises. let's just put it that way. There were surprises in there.
Yeah, I mean, and I think there was a couple that actually got fired out before the official one that actually had Henderson starting, not Milner. But I think Phillips obviously is the big surprise.
Yeah.
And apparently it's due to Gomez having a knock and not being fully match fit.
Yeah.
But look, we had a show. We had a show not so long ago. The no transfer knowledge, and a lot of people were of the opinion that he would be allowed to go out on loan. It's probably just as well he didn't.
No, I think
and I have to say he was solid tonight.
Yeah, I mean, look, bar the goal, which is just the mistake happened before it got to him, and it was compounded by him and Virgil. But at the same time, it was a brilliant pass and a brilliant run. But, I mean, we started well. You had, surprisingly, no Henderson. You had Elliott started, Nunez started. No Gomez on the bench. I think that threw everyone. It was just... And when the game started, we started... intent. I mean, the intensity was there. The passing was there, as you said. But there was one or two. There was one chance that Trent put a straight ball into, and it was Mo got a header on it, and it was one of those praying that it was that one was going to fall for Darwin and not to Mo, because he just couldn't get any purchase on the header. You know, it was like Robbie Doyle would have come in. At least Liverpool have an easy game next week. Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, we played all right tonight in patches, but results-wise, it's just not. No. It's not where we need to be. You know, we can dress it up or down as much as you like. 2 draws from your first 2 games is not where we need to be if we're for the season that's ahead. It's still early days, and look, plenty of sides are going to drop points, and it was important tonight that we didn't drop 3.
Yeah. You know, well, look, there's actually Madge Apple there says that we have 10 injuries and a red card. Take a draw, move on. I think we're probably worth more than the draw, I thought, tonight. Palace really only had their first chance. I think it was on 17 minutes, but it was offside. But it wasn't actually flagged, and Alisson still made a really good save.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't until 10 minutes later that actually Zaha got the goal. And you mentioned it there. I think it was very un-Fabinho to commit himself to that tackle and to throw himself into it, and at least take the foul or take the yellow card. but he just nipped it away from him. And again, like you said, Nat kind of got caught on his heels and was turning. And then, like we see most Liverpool defenders now do, is they kind of stop to try and see if, and he was literally the length of a boot onside.
Yeah.
But look, I don't think for a second that the actual lineup really had anything to do with it. I'm not sure if anybody in the comments wants to pipe up about the actual lineup itself. I think we played fine with the team that we started with.
Yeah, I did as well. I thought it was literally down to the chances that we created. We didn't take them. I mean, Gaeta made 4 saves. You know, we had 4 shots on target in we had 3 minutes and 8. So in 98 minutes, we had 4 attempts on target. We hit the post, but 24 attempts. You know, it was. That's why I'm frustrated, because you have to take your chances when they come. And the one right on half time for me was the sickener. The first one that Darwin had, okay, fair enough. It came at him. His body position was all wrong, and he just couldn't get around it. But that second one, he saw the ball coming all the way. He has to bury that. You know, he miskicks the second one, and you wonder how much that played on him with the frustration then. And look, he was a fucking idiot. There's no other way to get around it. He's literally put a red mark on his back now for every centre back has got to needle him and push him for the rest of his time at Liverpool because he reacts. And
that's what defenders do. That's part of their job.
Yeah. And the thing is, the one he flicked his head back for the first one. That was enough for me. If VAR looked at that, it might have been enough. But the second one, it's just brain dead stupid. You know, there's no nice way of dressing it up. And I know he's a new player, and I'm praying for him to do well. But Christ Almighty, that was just brain dead fucking stupid. You know?
Yeah, I did a comment in there saying that we've no real forwards at the moment. So I think the word was that Bobby had a knock, but I think it was more so for precaution.
Well, he wasn't available and he wasn't on the bench, so we don't. Yeah. The thing is, we don't know.
So it's going to be
three. Of it. We don't.
3 games now without Nunez.
Yeah, and in fairness, if it's 4 or 5, fine. Because by the time Darwin Nunez's suspension is over, Jota will be back. And look, he's got to fucking learn his lesson fast, because it's not just in the Premier League; it's in Europe as well. You know, there's going to be defenders left, right, centre are going to play on this, and he can't do what he did. He just can't do it. There's no excuse, none.
I think you could actually see. I'm not sure whether Klopp actually saw what happened, but
I think he was told.
But it's like he looked back at Peter Crouch on the bench, and he had watched the replay, and he kind of went as though, like,
don't argue. There's no complaints there.
Yeah.
You know,
I didn't like how long it took him to get off the pitch either. Like,
no,
you know what I mean?
I can imagine it's more fucking embarrassment than anything else, but still, you're not going to get away with it. He knew what he did, and just he had to be fucking hauled off the pitch, and Klopp roaring at him to get off the pitch. It was like at the time we were 1-0 down, and you know we had to fucking get back into the game. And it's one thing, our disciplinary record of recent years has been really, really good. You know, we very rarely get players sent off. Very rare, especially for straight reds.
One red card last year, and I think he's the first player. I think the commentary said he's the first player to be sent off on their debut at Anfield since Joe Cole against Arsenal back in 2010.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's very rare that we get a straight red. You know, so I mean, how did you see it? Because the start of this, I mean, we went through you go through the first half, and it was chance after chance, but it wasn't, bar the second one, there wasn't really any penetration in anything, you know?
No, we played absolutely excellent, I think, up until the 18-yard box. And obviously they were set up. They were playing they may have been playing a back 4, but they were immediately going to a back 5 and trying to play the low block. And we found it really difficult to get through them. Like I said, we were sending balls in high, and Anderson and Guy were just gobbling them up all night. And it's like I said, it's like we've changed to try and suit Nunez, whereas like he's not. Look, I know people are gonna. There's a few comments in there. Yeah, there's a few in there commenting on his first touch and that, and that's just. He's young. Was all right. He's panicky.
No, his touch was all right.
There's a few. There's a few in here, but also a few in a few groups that I'm in. Is that it's like he takes too long. I think the one where he was going through in the second half, where there was a handball. I thought he actually played okay up to that point.
Yeah, I mean the thing is, the only thing I'd say, it's his first game, it's his first start, and you can imagine the nerves are fucking coursing, we're pumping through it. So if you felt you needed to take that extra touch to get a good shot off rather than just hit and hope, fair enough. But it's going to be a debut to remember for all the fucking wrong reasons for him, you know. And it wasn't as if he didn't have the chances for a brace. He did, you know. So look,
he's gonna have an awful lot of making up to do. Like Tom Bowler said, 3-game ban, then Klopp will make him jump through hoops to earn a spot back in the starting 11.
Yeah, I mean the thing is, unfortunately, it's just going to be a case of needs must. By the time his ban is up, he won't be banned from Europe. So it's like you'll miss the United game and you'll miss the next 2 games after that. But you know, it's just a frustrating. It couldn't have come at a worse fucking time as well, you know.
Well, look, we seemed to play better when he went off. Nunez, let's talk about some of the positives. Not Nunez. When Nunez went off, Diaz just comes to life, and he seemed to kind of take up more of a central position. I think Klopp made the 4-4-1 kind of gesture onto the pitch.
Yeah.
And I think that was more so of Diaz through the middle, and he just became what he should have been. Maybe up until then. And I saw a few comments in the Telegram and also in WhatsApp group saying that what do we make of how is Robbo affected by how wide Diaz is playing? So you'd have Mane. Normally Mane would kind of come in slightly, like nearly like an inside left. Diaz seems to get chalk on his boots and hug the touchline, which kind of forces Robbo kind of inside, like in an underlap. And I'm just not sure whether
it doesn't suit him
or not. It doesn't. No.
It doesn't suit him. That's the kind of thing I think it works fine when Thiago plays.
Yeah.
Because if the play breaks down, you can pop it back to Thiago and he'll just spray it out the other side. It's absolutely fine. He's just a safe pair of hands there. But Milner isn't that guy. And Milner was here, there, and everywhere in the first half. He was on the left. He was on the right. I mean, the other person I thought did really well tonight was Harvey. He was lively. He was linking the play up really well. The only thing that I found on the right-hand side, because he's left-footed and is really left-footed, Mo's left-footed, Trent came inside. We narrowed the pitch on that side. Whereas on the other side, Diaz was neither here nor there. He wasn't, like you say, he was staying out in the touchline. I don't think he was staying out there enough. Yeah. And he wasn't coming inside enough to warrant for Robert to go on the outside. It was almost like we wanted everything to go through the middle, and no one to go around the back and put crosses in from the byline. It was like crosses from a bit of a deeper position, or try to play an intricate 1-2 in and around the box. And to me, that lineup, that lineup wasn't going to play that way, wasn't going to be successful that way, because for what Milner offers you, he doesn't offer you that. And I thought Elliott did okay, but you needed someone else on the left. That's why it was unfortunate, really, that Naby was back training late.
Is that what we make of it? It's a case that he's not match fit because of illness?
Yeah, I think it was whatever the illness was, he was apparently back in training on Saturday. So he's had 1-2 sessions. Yeah. Not enough. Yeah, it's just one of those.
But I mean, in the first half, we mentioned Elliott, but I thought that he never stopped. If he lost the ball, he won it straight back.
Yeah.
It was great to see. And that was, I think that was across the team.
That was across the board.
Yeah.
The counter pressing and winning the ball back high up the pitch. This is what the frustrating thing is. Palace had the one chance, and credit to them, they took it. You know, they forced a mistake, they capitalized on it, and good, you know, fair play. It was a brilliant finish. It was a really well timed run. Happy days. For the rest of the half, we dominated the ball. We dominated it, even winning it back high up the pitch. We just couldn't get the final ball right. And
you see, I think that's the way. That's the thing with us, is that when we win the ball up high, all of these chances that we get. I think you said before we came on that they had 24 shots. Well, I think only four of them were on target. But what happens is when our chances more often than not come from when we win the ball up top, and when you win the ball up high, they generally have a lot of defenders there, and your chances aren't as clear cut as when we leave space open at the back. So they only had the one chance, but it was basically a true on goal and a 1-on-1 with the keeper. And look, take nothing away from the finish. We said that before we came on as well. Zaha's finish was unbelievable.
Yeah.
So I think just whilst we do make an awful lot of chances, then they're never really clear cut, or you never see. It's rare that you see somebody just bearing down on goal. It is a cross in, or it's a feed kind of a true ball into the box or something like that. So they're never cut and dry.
Yeah, but they weren't tonight anyway. You know, it was like, I mean, the other thing that disappointed me was our set pieces, the corners, the delivery into the box, the movement in the box. When you saw some of the goals that were scored over the weekend, the Spurs one stands out. You know, the delivery from Perisic into Kane. It's not like the lads that are like Trent and Robbo aren't capable of putting those crosses in. And you had the likes of Van Dijk, you had Fabinho, Nat Phillips in the box, Darwin when he was on. Big guys, you know, powerful in the air. We never put a ball into any kind of a decent space for them to be able to attack it. They were just really poor. And for a side that does so well from set pieces, you know, when you get a game like tonight where it's just not going in, it's not going right, you need something like that. You need one of those corners to fucking work like.
There's a comment there that I want from Prakar saying, I'm not going to put it up, but it was the next thing I was about to say. Tsimikas comes on, you think, here's your chance. And I think he was getting balls closer to section 302 when he was swinging them in. Like you thought, and I like the way, like I get what you say, that normally you get Robbo towards the byline and he's pulling them back, whereas Tsimikas offers something different in terms that he kind of crosses from a little deeper. But Jesus Christ, they were nearly hitting the corner flag more.
Yeah, but the problem you got with Tsimikas coming on is who's he hitting? Yeah. Who's in the box? You know, I mean, it was a time in the game where that wasn't the way to go. You know, it was the opposite. It was like, if you want to go that way, you needed Virgil to go up front, you know, and leave Nat Phillips on. You know, if you want to go that way, then put someone up front to hit. You can't do that with Luis Diaz, Mo Salah, and Carvalho to try to put crosses in like that. It's crazy.
And says there, these injuries are ridiculous. I know we don't panic, but F me, fuck me. This squad is really starting to look paper thin, especially now with Darwin's ban. And that's what we said there. I'll take that down. It's covering our faces. If Bobby's injury is maybe slightly worse than is to be believed, instead of it being a precaution, what way do we line up next week against United with no Nunez? Is it a case of Diaz through the middle, Salah and Carvalho on the left?
Yeah. I mean, either that or you go 4-4-2 and put Salah and Diaz up top with you could go 4-4-2 and just say, look, Fabinho and Henderson, you sit in midfield, you play Harvey on one side, you play Carvalho on the other side, and you'd have Luis Diaz and Mo Salah up front. It was, Yeah, I mean, Garrett makes a good point there, actually. Carvalho needs a few balls of stew to beef him up. He's 19 years of age, and he's literally, coming into the Premier League raw. You know, there's a big jump up in class from the Championship to the Premier League. It is a really big.
There's more meat on a leather shoelace.
There is, yeah, but in fairness, he's not going to physically grow into his body until he's 21, 22, 23.
Yeah.
You know,
but I mean, I think he came on and did well. Look, let's talk about getting back into it. So, look, we go down to the 10 men, and I turned around to the little lad. We were sitting watching it together, and I said he was devastated because he has Nunez in his fantasy football team. And I said, well, look, I said, sometimes teams play better with 10. He said, what do you mean 10? And I said, we've only got 10 players now. He said, can you not put Henderson just came on? I said, yeah, no, but we still only have 10. He's watching too much Gaelic. You
gotta love the innocence of it.
But I said to him, I said, look, sometimes a team will play better with 10. And that turned out, I think we actually did play better with the 10 men. And what a goal by Diaz. And I'm on the record here of saying he needs to start aiming for that other post. No, he definitely doesn't.
It was a great goal. It was a great goal. It was a great hit. And it needed that bit of individual. That's what I was saying about set pieces. It needed an individual piece of brilliance, and it was some hit. It was some goal. It was a goal worthy of winning a game.
Yeah.
You know, not worthy of a point. It was an absolute screamer, hit with real pace. He made it all himself. He just kept going and going and going, and it was like he had to hit it. And when he hit it, it was when you saw it in the replay and you see the spin on the ball, he hit that as true as you're ever going to hit a ball from there. It was an absolute peach of a goal. Brilliant.
And he's been threatening a goal like that in previous performances.
Yeah.
I mean,
in the Fulham game, he had the offside goal, and he had another one that hit the crossbar. Yeah. And you're right.
He had a couple in the FA Cup final as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And that's what I was saying. He needs to stop aiming for that far post and maybe aim for the near post. But that was an unbelievable goal. And like you said, it was a goal that probably deserved to win a match. But I mean, even at them when we got that, I thought we're gonna go on and win this. And
I thought the way we were playing, I thought we have every chance. But then when Palace made the changes and it got to like 85 minutes, so for fuck's sake, please don't lose this. You know, whatever happens, get the point. You know, as dour and miserable as that sounds, when you're down to 10 and the situation is the way it is, just get the point at all costs. You know, and in fairness, I don't think Alisson had much to do. I don't even know if he made a save. You know, I don't know if he made a save in anger. I think he had one shot to save.
He had the offside one, and then I think
Kevin Ball makes a good point there. Zaha missed. It was a difficult chance, but it was one he should have scored.
I think he should have
cross that came in.
He went with the wrong foot, I thought.
Yeah, they got 2v1 at the back post, and Trent stuck with the man who was closest on the inside. Zaha went on the outside, and the cross was fizzed in. And if he gets any kind of decent connection on that at all, he scores. You know, it was a brilliant cross. And Trent was stuck between the devil and the deep blue sea. Do you stick with your own man, or do you go with the one at the far post? If a goal is scored from there, either way, you're wrong. So he stuck with the guy he was closest to, and he left Zaha alone, which fine. You know, it is what it is.
Yeah, that's something that we've spoken about before, Dermot. So do any of our midfielders ever score? It used to be midfielders looking for 10 to 15 goals a season. I think in all competitions last season, our midfield scored 39 goals. And I think it was 21 or 24 maybe in the Premier League. So we do get them. But I get what you're saying. I do think we probably need a couple more goals from midfield.
Yeah, you don't often get that runner from midfield to break the line to go in behind it. You look at the makeup of the midfield. I think you'll get that from Harvey. I think Harvey Elliott, as he evolves, as he plays through the season, I think you'll get that from him. I don't think you're going to get that from Henderson. You'll get the odd. I mean, Henderson is liable to chip in with 4 or 5, and odds are most of them are going to be pearlers. You know, Milner will chip in with the odd 1 or 2. Fabinho will get a thunderbolt here and there. Fabinho's the one who frustrates me because it was night and day the difference between today and the Fulham game. The mistake aside for the goal, fair, you know, that can happen. He made 111 passes at 94% accuracy tonight. You know, the most passes of anyone. And it's like, for someone his size, at 6'2", he should be more of a presence in the opposition box. He's well capable of it. You know, Daz, hey Daz, how are you doing? How are you getting on, Darren? Very disappointing result tonight, but the performance wasn't bad. Away to United next week is now a must win. Absolutely, it is. I mean, it was must win anyway, but definitely fucking must win now because by the time we play United, everyone else will have played, and we're sat here on 2 points twiddling our thumbs.
Unusual, isn't it? 2 Monday night games. I think somebody said earlier on they hate half 12 games and they hate Monday night games, and we've got three of them in our first 3 games of this season. We did create more chances after the goal. Like I said, I thought we were going to go on and win it. We had the kind of snapshot from Mo, and then you had that shot from Carvalho, which I was up off the couch for both.
Yeah, I thought that was close. The Mo one I thought was, you know, that was one of those half chances. If they go in, they're great, fantastic. The Carvalho one, you know, I thought that was another one. He saw it coming. He had time to pick his spot, and you know he was fresh on the pitch. It wasn't as if it was his first touch or anything. You got to get that on target. Make the keeper make the save. You know, if you get it on target and the keeper saves it, for you know, fair enough. You don't have to bury it into the corner. You know, it's the only criticism I'd have because I thought other than that he was fine.
Kevin says, if we don't beat United, I don't want to hear any of this shit about being positive. Look, there's a hell of a lot to be positive about this week than there was last week.
Yeah, last week I was fuming.
This is football. We come out and play really, really well in the first half this week, and we go in at the break 1-0 down. We played absolutely shite last week in the first half, and we go in 1-0 down. This is why people watch football. It's the game. So I think it was Greaves. He said it's a funny old game. So and it is.
It's a fucking pisser, is what it is, Jimmy.
I think just to go back on the point about the goals from midfield. I think what we need, and I've said this, and maybe Ox in the past was probably that player, and not so much Naby, but it is something that I think when we're not having joy with the attack or breaking down the defense, I think we do need to just get somebody to hit one from distance. And look, Diaz did it. Like, look, he bet a few players, but even you see it with our play. We're playing across maybe about 4 or 5 yards away from the 18-yard box between our midfielders.
Yeah,
somebody just needs to have a smack at it, and even if it doesn't go in, if the keeper saves it, it's going to spill to somebody.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? So I don't think we have that threat, and that's why teams can probably decide to sit in because they can
sit in, stay in the shape
from distance.
Yeah, if someone takes a shot from distance, that means someone has to come and press it. So the next time you can play around them. You know, that's the whole point of half the point of taking a shot from outside the box is, look, it might go in. Odds are it fucking won't. They very rarely do. But the whole point is to draw people towards you, to create space for people inside. And if people are being narrow and tight, that's how you gotta go around them. If you can't go over them, you have to go through them. And to go through them, you have to pull them out of shape. And that's one way of doing it. And it's not like Henderson isn't capable. Fabinho's definitely capable. It's just either they're under instruction to keep the ball moving and keep possession and keep pressing and keep the pressure on. Because the one thing that will happen, if you take a bad shot like that, you're giving the ball back to them and you're going back to resetting. And you're giving them, you're just leaving the pressure valve off. So there's two sides to it. I get where you're coming from. Having that threat, we should have it. You know, it's not like Klopp hasn't been there long enough to develop the squad enough to be able to have that player, to have that threat. But at the moment, with what's available, I just don't see it. It's just not there at the moment. And to be fair, this is as threadbare as I've seen the squad now in a long, long time.
Yeah. I think it's 10 injuries, isn't it, in total?
Yeah. I mean, the lucky thing is, I suppose, in a way, is that we don't have a midweek game.
I think Chris might be slightly paraphrasing here, but he says Klopp just said he's going to give Nunez the digs for being stupid. I would actually love him to hear that say those actual words, but I doubt that's the way he said it. But look,
he's going to get a serious rocket up his hole, because it's just not fucking on. You know, whatever about getting sent off for a late tackle, a bad tackle, whatever, that happens in the game. Getting a red card for reacting to a fucking defender is criminal. It's stupid. You know,
especially as a striker, as a 9 or whatever, like that should be part and parcel of your game.
Yeah, it's going to happen, and it will have happened to him. It's not like he went through his time in Portugal and he went through his time in Spain. You know, as a spotty little teenager, you know, coming up through in the Spanish second division, that he didn't get lumps kicked out of him, because he would have. You know, it's you cannot do it. You can't do it. It's just fucking unforgivable.
Look, there's a lot of calls in the chat here, in several other groups that I'm in, that like, that's it. We've dropped 4 points. The league is over.
Behave.
If anybody fails to remember, and I know it's Man City, they lost their first game of the season last season, so they were immediately 3 points behind us. So look, we're 2 games in. Everybody needs to chill. If you're worried about the league being over after 2 games, maybe football isn't the sport for you. We came back from, I think it was 14 points behind in February last year. So we've still got plenty of games to make this up. We will have players coming back.
I'll tell you one thing. The calls, the pressure on Klopp to add to this squad is going to be real now for the rest of the window. Partially because I think it needs it. It needs fresh blood. You know, and the other side of it, it can't be a case that the money isn't there. But my biggest fear is, I don't know how they make up the numbers when because someone has to go. To get someone in, someone has to not be registered. And if it's a case that you don't register Ox at all, that means you have to bring in, I don't know. Callum is normally the one who's really good at this. Someone in the chat might know if Laura's in there. How are we for homegrown players? If it's a case that we don't register Ox, can we bring someone in who's non-homegrown and still keep the numbers where we are? Because I think we need, that squad needs a fresh blood. It needs something. There's something not right in it. You know, it's almost a case like with the midfield, especially, they've been together for so long. There's only so many times you can go to the well. You know, and I thought we played well tonight. I did. I genuinely did. I thought the midfield, backline, with the ball, we were fine. I wasn't unhappy with it. But I just looked at the bench tonight, and I know there's injuries, and I know a lot of them are only 6 weeks, a month, 2 months, whatever. It's not massive time that they're out for. But, you know, you could find yourself right off the pace here in this league, the way it's condensed really quickly. That's a big fucking worry.
G10 put in a comment there based on what we were saying a few minutes ago about the league not being over. Another heroic chase, medals for runners-up. We didn't catch City last year. No, but we came back from 14 points and finished a point behind them. We're only 4 points behind them now. So Laszlo also follows it up by saying he's not saying it's over. Giving them a 4-point lead after 3 games has us on the back foot.
It has.
Yeah, already, and it's not ideal. No, it's not. But it's not. Like,
no one's saying it is.
If anybody wants to give up now, off you pop.
Pretty much.
Now I think is Dean. I just saw something popping up there. It has to be. He has to be on a wind up. He said that Matteo Nunez just signed for Wolves.
Okay. Well, the thing is, if that's true, Dean, and hey, Dean, fair play to you, mate. If that's true, that's usually the pathway that a lot of Portuguese players go down to get their door to get into the Premier League. It's a well trodden path, and to be fair, he's been touted around all summer as getting a move somewhere, but none of the big clubs in Europe went for him. Nobody. Not Manchester United when they're screaming out for a midfielder, not Man City with the prospect of losing Bernardo Silva. So you have to look at it and think, well, they all can't be wrong. We'll see how he goes. If he goes to Wolves, we'll see how he goes, because so one thing with Wolves, he'll play a lot. He'll play every week, and we'll see what he's like. And 40 million euro plus 5 million add-ons. Yeah, that was pretty much what the papers were talking about. So look,
the fallout on Twitter for this is going
we'll
to
see.
be
We'll see at the end of the season how he goes, don't we? But I just look at it and I think with the amount of clubs out there looking at midfielders and looking at midfield options, and not one Champions League club anywhere went for him. That's a bit weird. It wasn't the case. It was just the Premier League. There's plenty of clubs in Spain, Italy, France, PSG are looking for centre mids because they're trying to change the dynamic of their midfield. They never went for him. None of the German clubs went for him. So we'll see over the season how he goes. But if he does go really well, Wolves will cash in. He won't leave Wolves on the cheap if he plays well.
I'm not going to do any funny puns for AP Vanish tonight. I'm just going to go straight in and do it. I'm not in the humor, so I'll just read it. I'll just read it out to you. So, did you know that browsing online using incognito mode doesn't actually protect your privacy? That's right. Without added security, you might as well give away all your private data to hackers, advertisers, your ISP, and other prying eyes. IP Vanish VPN makes it easy to stay truly private and secure on the internet. IP Vanish helps you safely browse the internet by encrypting 100% of your data. This means that your private details, passwords, communications, browsing history, and more will be completely shielded from falling into the wrong hands. Even your physical location will be hidden. IP Vanish makes you virtually invisible online. It's that simple. You can use IP Vanish on unlimited devices without sacrificing on speed. Your computers, tablets, phones, even devices like Fire Stick when you're streaming media. Whether I'm at home or in public, I don't go online anymore without using IP Vanish. IP Vanish is offering an incredible 70% off their yearly plan to our listeners with a 30-day money-back guarantee. It's just like getting 9 months for free. IP Vanish is super easy to use. All you have to do is tap one button and you're instantly protected. You won't even know it's on. Stop sharing with the world everything you stream, everything you search for, and everything you buy. Take your privacy back today with the brand rated 4.6 out of 5 on Trustpilot. Go to ipvanish.com/daytrippers and claim your 70% savings. That's ipvanish.com/daytrippers. So, Kev, I've not had a chance to see any of the post-match reaction, obviously, on Sky or anything like that. I've set it to record. How differently does Klopp approach the players from tonight versus last Saturday?
I think he won't be. I don't think he's going to be unhappy with the performance. He'll be unhappy with the finishing, and certain things, certain moments where they could have made better decisions. Composure was lacking in the final third. Be it the way to pass, be it the right cross, better finishing. But I think defensively, he won't be unhappy. Look, a side like Palace set up to play on the break with Eze and Zaha, and Eze and Zaha were really good tonight. They're going to get chances. They're going to get the odd one that works. and they did. They got one that worked. So it's very difficult to play the way we play and keep them all out all the time. So I think you'll accept the one effort with the high risk and high reward, because for the high line that we do play, it allows us to press in their final third a hell of a lot. And we did that. We turned the ball over really well. It was just the final third that let us down, and we just didn't work Aita enough. And that's the frustrating part. But I think you'll take a lot more positives out of tonight's performance than he did at the Fulham one. The Fulham one was just not acceptable on any level. Tonight, there's stuff to work on.
How much of a mental block does it now become, having gone behind in our last 6 Premier League games running?
It doesn't help, does it?
No. Does it kind of start getting in on players, or does it make them nervous, or is it kind of in the back of their head? Or
I'd say it would have done if the squad was younger, but it's not. The squad is a reasonable age, especially with the at the back. They're not inexperienced players, even in midfield. Bar Harvey, the rest of them aren't inexperienced. So I think it'll frustrate him more than anything, but I don't think it'll play on him that way. But I think what will have frustrated them is the amount of shots that they're having and they're not converting. But let's have a look. Klopp got it wrong. Sorry, lads. Both performances, bar the second half, was poor. We simply don't look like scoring, bar a lucky Nunez flick, a lucky Nunez assist he knew nothing about, and a screamer. It's a view.
I thought all of those actually count as goals.
Yeah, me too.
I'd like to know, so if you're still there, you never walk alone. What did he get wrong? That's what I'd like to know. I mean, he's obviously put out the best team that he possibly can tonight, given that Gomez obviously had a knock and wasn't fully match fit. Matip hadn't trained. Thiago is injured. Jota is injured. Firmino is rumored to be injured. So there's rumored of 10 injuries. Who would you have started, or who would you have played? And to be honest with you, bar the second half, I thought we were excellent in the first half, up to a point. Yeah, I'd like to know if you want to come back to us and just let us know what exactly did he get wrong. So we'll move on anyway. What else have we got in here?
That's an interesting one. Sonny Sparkles there. Back four giving away too much space. Yeah, that's kind of the point, though. If you're playing a high line, you're going to have a lot of space in behind you. That's the risk you take, to have so many players up front and going in forward positions. It's like, if you want to play with your back four and 2 holding midfielders that sit in and allow teams to come onto you, like, say, Conte did with Spurs, I mean, at the end of the day, Spurs with Chelsea, they played 5-3-2, 5-2-1-2, whichever way you want to dress it up. And they were lucky to get a point, but they got a point. The same point as what we got tonight has the same value. It's just against Chelsea and not against Crystal Palace, but it's still only a point. There's many ways to play this game, and this is the way that we've been playing. We've been playing like this, leaving space in behind for sides to try to attack us. Do you know what I mean? It is. I just don't see that as a negative to me.
Hang on, we have You Never Walk Alone is back. The pitch positioning was so wrong in both games. We play so narrow. Trent should be wider and not in the centre. Team was fine with Gomez and Hendo had to play. Salah and Diaz needed to be higher up.
Well, Gomez couldn't play because he couldn't do 90 minutes.
And we don't know why.
We don't know why Henderson. And I said this last night, that he'd have to make a call on midfield between Elliott and Henderson, because Henderson on the left doesn't really work. He's not, and you've seen it when he came on. He really struggles playing that left side of a 3. So he went with Harvey, and he went with Harvey on merit because of what he did against Fulham.
And I think he the way he performed tonight, he deserves to keep his position.
Yeah, I get what you're saying about Trent being where he is, and ideally, I would prefer someone on the right-hand side who's right-footed, who can make those overlapping runs with Mo coming on the inside. I understand that, and I think it narrows us. It does. It's a problem. If you're playing Salah and you're playing Harvey Elliott, you're always going to be narrowing that side of the pitch because they're both left-footed, and it's a frustration. I understand it, but I think a way around doing that is playing two up top. And that way you could probably do it. But the way that we're playing at the moment, Trent is playing that inside right centre mid attacking midfielder while we're on the ball, and when we're off the ball, he drifts back into right back again. He's not a conventional right back in the sense. I get what you're saying though, I do get it. It is a problem, and we have to overcome it. But it's also a problem that created enough chances tonight. On another night you take those chances. So.
But large parts of last season, he wound up in that position as well.
Yeah, that's design. That's not accident. That he's picking up that position quite a lot, and it's something actually that if you've ever watched Bayern, Joshua Kimmich, when he started his career at right back, he ended up being that kind of player, playing inside centre mid from right back. So it's not something that we've reinvented the wheel or anything. It's been done before, and that's how Kimmich ended up developing into a centre mid, because that's where he evolved into. But it's just one of those. And what's Rory saying there?
Rory says, Neville wondered if United would be more pragmatic against Liverpool next week, given Palace played a 5-4-1. You wonder if Ten Hag will take a backward step. For us, we could do with Keita option at left side of midfield.
Yeah,
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Ten Hag strikes me as the type of lad that he wants to play a certain way, and you're learning for them to revert back. It's kind of nearly shown that maybe the way he wants them to play isn't working. I'm not sure. I don't think, and I'm not 100% sure. Old Trafford. I know it's Liverpool, and they'll do anything to get a result against Liverpool, but I'm not sure.
If it was Mourinho, he would, and Mourinho did do it,
and he doesn't give a shit.
No, he did do it at Old Trafford against us. He played a back five. He played a 5-3-2, but it wasn't a 2. It was a 5-4-1 because Rashford ended up playing as a left winger. I think it was Martial, might have been Martial, or someone played up front. And you saw the team sheet at the start, and it was 5-3-2, but it played as a 5-4-1. Will Ten Hag do it? He should, but I don't know. He should do it, in fairness, because if you can stifle us playing, all you have to do, you get one counter attack right, and you'll get a chance. But it's just a case of, do they have the discipline? Whereas Palace were organised and disciplined and came for a point and got a point. I don't know if this United side are disciplined enough. What's Kevin saying?
Discipline, but also they'll have spent a vast majority of the summer and pre-season trying to play a completely opposite way. So they have a week to change to play the way Palace played tonight. I'm not sure. Their heads will be up their holes. They're playing one way one week and another the next. I'm not sure they have the players to be able to adapt like that. Kevin says Naby can't start over Milner. Klopp doesn't trust him, lads. It's no wonder he's not signing the contract. We said it earlier on, Kevin. Naby actually only trained on Saturday after being ill for 2 weeks. Was it, Kev?
Yeah. Well, he missed the Fulham game, and he didn't get back to training until Saturday. So
a week and a half.
Yeah, he was never. And the thing is, the way things are at the minute, he's not going to throw him in on the strength of 1 or 2 training sessions. He's just not going to do it. Especially when you've got Milner there, who's more than capable of coming in and doing a job. And he did. He came in and did a job. He was fine.
I think you see Keita next week against United.
You have to,
because he's the 2 games last year he played extremely well.
You have to. And in fairness, it's the one thing that if he's going to be playing in that left centre mid role, that is his favourite position. That's where he's best at. So look, there's a lot can happen in the next 7 days.
Kevin said he's trained all week.
He hasn't.
No, I didn't think so.
He hasn't. He wasn't back until Saturday. Because Klopp, even in his press conference, said that he was back in the building. So he might have trained Friday, but as far as I know, it was Saturday.
A draw is a draw, but it's cost us titles twice now. Draws. It's only sparkles. Yeah. Like Shawnee said last night, that you either win or you lose. There are no draws. A draw is essentially a loss. And it is. And look, it's not ideal to be 4 points off them.
Of course it's
after 2 games. But look, we've been in worse positions. Like I said, we've come back from worse positions. They've come back from worse positions.
Yeah.
So
we just need to get that first win under our belt. And things look better after 3 points. They always do. If we'd have snuck a win tonight, it would have been a great comeback. We'd have dominated possession, got our chance. It took the chance when it came, and we had 3 points down to 10 men, and we're all fucking delighted with life. No one ever accused this club of doing things the easy way, and we certainly aren't at the minute.
Art says, Kev, we need to stop conceding chances where the percentage of opposition team scoring is too high. So clearly the high line does not do us any favours when we have injuries. We should be more adaptable. There was a point last year where we were singing the high line's praises. We had caught people off side over 100 times. I get what you're saying about not being in there, probably not as well drilled on it as maybe Konate, Matip and Gomez.
Yeah, look, it's not going to change. So if you think it's going to change because we conceded a goal where Zaha made a perfect run, it's not. It's just not going to change. And nor will it, nor should it. It shouldn't change. At the end of the day.
Here's something here that I want to talk about, and his name is Ryan Kavanagh, and that's Ryan Kavanagh, my cousin. He says he doesn't watch live. He watches them the next day. What's the story with your man Anderson climbing over the top of everyone? The way the refereeing has begun this season is madness. Some mad fouls being let go, some soft ones being called up. Now, that's something, look, I think when the ball gets played into the box, Anderson is all over Diaz. Over him. And nothing is given. And then in the 89th minute, Ward is all over Diaz, and he gives a free kick. Because it's outside the box. Nearly identical.
It was identical. There were mirror images of each other. But you'll never...
There were some challenges where I thought a Liverpool player had failed a Palace player. And I thought, what are you doing? And he waved them on. It's not just tonight. I've watched other games, obviously, since the season started. And it's strange the way they are letting things go.
There was a comment in there as well about the time wasting. Why warn them? If someone's wasting time in the 46th minute over a goal kick, fucking book him. Why are you giving him a warning? Why are you calling the captain over to tell people to hurry up taking throw-ins? Because you're going to add it on. He added on fuck all. He added on 5 minutes because of the amount of subs. And there was a VAR check. There was an injury. And
it's then somebody actually ran onto the pitch as well.
Yeah,
wasn't it?
So. Oh, that Gombi, and I swear to God, he needs a lifetime ban, whoever that was. But what's the point? I don't get it. They made a big hoo-ha last week about hurrying goalkeepers up. As soon as he booked him on the 90th minute, he stood there. He stood there and is like, "What? You're not going to send me off. I know you're not." So it's bullshit. You're dead right about the Anderson. And the thing is, you're never going to get a penalty for that. But outside the box, it's a foul all day, every day. And I'm always given.
Sick of talking about that. It's a foul regardless of where it is. Why are they so reluctant to give it as a penalty? If it happened in the centre circle, just past the centre circle, which it did about 5-10 minutes after, it was given as a free kick against Ward.
Dean Rogan is great comment. The pitch invader was Shawnee trying to get a Tierney.
It was either that or he was trying to chase Matt out of the stadium.
God, poor Matt. Do you remember during the 2018 World Cup, at the start of the World Cup, when VAR was introduced, they were giving penalties at corners, left, right, and centre. And what you had by the end of the tournament was defenders actually defending. You had more goals scoring from corners because attackers were able to attack the ball rather than having to fight with someone who's 6'3" trying to outmuscle them. And the game was better for it. And they just went away from it again. You know, it's like they have all these wild ideas at the start of the season and then they revert to type after it. I mean, I don't know about you. I saw Ref Watch today and it was just more verbal gymnastics to try to justify decisions that were fucking shocking.
I've stopped watching that. Dermot Gallagher's obviously he's too. They need somebody that's not as like he's like best mates with your man Riley, isn't he?
Yeah,
the head of the PGMOL or whatever. But you're right. They do. It's like I think it should be a red card, but I can see why he didn't give it, and you're just like, just come out and do you know what I mean? Give your honest opinion. Like,
they're not allowed.
I won't try Tor at Trades. Yeah, Ten Hag is finished if he goes with a low, and the red still punish Man United. Only works if Liverpool don't score first. Palace players have a stronger work ethic, but United players may be up for it.
I don't know. Look, there's a long way to go. I mean, the thing is, we've got a real issue now up front, and how we tackle that, and how we play against United. Is Bobby going to be available? How far away is Jota? You know, is it a case that Salah has to start in the middle and Elliott has to play wide right, and Henderson comes in the 8? Is that how we're going to have to go? I'm sure there's going to be plenty of shows between now and then where we'll rip through the whole thing. We'll be a lot wiser after tomorrow, when we find out exactly what's going on with some of the injuries. Because the amount of them now, I mean, and it's not just Liverpool, to be fair. There's an awful lot of players like Diego Carlos going out with his ruptured Achilles. You know, there's an awful lot of players going down with groin strains and hamstring injuries. You know, is it a case that because the season has started too early, the preseason was really short, so intense for an awful lot of clubs, not intense enough, for the likes of City? Did we get it wrong by playing so many games? Did City get it right by playing too few games? I mean,
I thought it would work in the opposite. I thought City were kind of probably not doing themselves any favour not having so many games, preseason games.
But look, in fairness, they've had two pretty walkover opponents as well, so that's helped them out.
Madge Apple says that Klopp said Bobby could be back from Monday.
Yeah, hopefully. But then again, are you better off? Are you going to start with Bobby at Old Trafford as opposed to maybe Mo? I don't know. Does he offer you enough? I mean, someone's saying there, start Carvalho in the false nine, and I don't think he's strong enough. I don't think that's his position. I think he's better facing up to play, not with his back to play. Maybe in time he can play that way. I don't know. I completely agree. I've pretty much been saying that for the whole summer. Whatever about the midfield, I always felt that we needed a forward, a right-sided attacker more than anything.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how we cope when it goes 2 games a week. The way we're going with the injuries, performance is going to get a lot tougher on the lads, Ryan.
Do you know what, Ryan? The one thing I'll say to that, I think when you've got a game every few days, I think you just roll into it. You know, I think for the majority of the players at the club, that's normal. You know, this playing midweek, weekend, that's what they thrive on. It's not being on the training ground for 5 days a week. Yeah. You know, it's because when they start playing 2 games a week, 3 games a week, they're not training. You know, they're just going back into the access center, cool down, specific training regimes, work on set pieces, work on shape for whoever the opponent is. It's not really in-depth fitness training. You know, I think we were better when we got more games. Yeah, that's super Dizzle. Maybe play Diaz as a false 9, Carvalho and Salah either side. That's just the flip of what I said about Harvey Elliott. You could do that too. Yeah, that's a viable option by playing Carvalho out on the wide left.
I think if he's going to go 4-3-3, that's
I think that's how you
most likely way.
Yeah, because you can still play Harvey Elliott. I still think you're going to Old Trafford. I still think that Henderson should be playing. I honestly think Henderson has to play if you're going to Old Trafford, because that crowd is going to be unreal. That atmosphere is going to be
so
intense.
then do you push Salah into the middle with Elliott? Is that what you were saying?
That's how I would do it.
And leave Diaz out left.
Yeah. And I just think the way United are set up, I think Diaz would have Dalot he'd have fun against Dalot. And the other side, Elliott coming in on his left with Mo having the freedom to play in and amongst us a 9. Look, I just think we'd be better. Bring a better balance to the side that way. But I almost give up on predicting lineups after tonight, because nobody saw that coming.
No. So Tom Boland, and then we'll finish up in a few minutes because I have to. We've just done the hour, and I've a partner and a son not to talk to. I don't talk to people after we have bad results. Yeah. So this will be fine once the team will be fine once we get up to speed. What people want to see is another Amazon bollock show, so they can see the players' fake reactions. Look, we'll wrap it up there. Thanks for everybody in the comment section. They were flying.
It's been brilliant comments tonight, guys. Thank you.
It's really been look. It's always a bitter pill to swallow when you don't get the result. But the positives being we played a hell of a lot better than we did last week. Obviously, the negative of Nunez getting sent off isn't great. 3-game ban. So now we have a conundrum up top as well. So hopefully with the week that's in it, or we get a week, some of the lads are going to be back training. Keita will be more up to speed. Tsimikas will get the rust out of that left boot. We'll have more options in the middle of the park. Again, we go to Old Trafford next week. Anything else from you?
No, just wanted to mention about Bobby's wish to walk. The link is in the description, as it always is for every show. You guys know who are regulars in the chat. For those of you who aren't regulars, Bobby has a form of cerebral palsy. He needs to go to Cincinnati for an operation. As far as I know, he was on 117,000 of the 150,000 that he needs to go last night. I'm going
to check it here. You keep talking
and hopefully he can get to that 150,000 this side of Christmas, get the operation, get back, and with the help of everyone pushing it, sharing it, and getting the word out about it, it will get there, and you guys will all know now that Super Chat's turned off. If any of you guys feel as though you want to make a donation to the channel, please direct that to Bobby's his donate page. The description is in the link. If you can't donate, that's absolutely fine. But please share it amongst your WhatsApp groups, your social medias, and just have a read. Have a watch of the video and have a read. If it's something you think you can help with, then please do.
He's €236 shy of 120 grand. So that's up. That's up nearly 3 grand on yesterday. And I'm just looking at it here. One donation was 2,610. So
cracking. But listen, I guarantee you that the majority of those donations are fivers, are tenors, are 15, 20 quids, where people can't just throw it in if you can. If not, please just share it. It costs absolutely nothing to click on the link and just share it around your socials. It costs absolutely nothing but a couple of minutes each time.
Or just an idea that I said during the week as well is that in a WhatsApp group that I have, we do a last man stand and everybody puts a tenner in. It's a $5 to the prize money, a $5 to Bobby. So 50-50. So you always work up a couple of quid doing it that way as well.
Yeah. There's always ways and means.
That's it for Full-Time Reds. My first ever one, I have to say. I actually enjoyed it.
It's a therapy session after a bad result, isn't it? Wait till you come on after a good one, mate. I promise. When you come on after a win, it's fucking great.
Yeah, come here. All day today, I was coming on. I was like, what are we going to say when we smash this? I was like, I jinxed it. It wasn't Matt's fault. Matt, if you're listening or if you listen back to this, you're going to have to come back again and get a win at Anfield. You've had a loss, you've had a draw, you have to come back for a win now. But thanks to everybody in the comment section. The comments were flying in. We tried to kind of be fair enough in which ones that we actually put up. What's coming up? So we have, what are we on Monday? Gav is back on Wednesday.
I think that might
have viewer's voice maybe on Thursday. I'm not sure whether there's a show lined up for Wednesday.
Yeah, I've got one lined up for Friday. I've actually got a Manchester United fan lined up to come on Friday night. And he's actually a cousin of mine. He lives in the UK, and he's an avid Man United fan who's been a Man United fan all his life. But he's very balanced and very fair with. He loves the club. Don't get me wrong. He's one of those. He doesn't give you dog's abuse. When they were successful, he knows that football is cyclical and what goes around comes around type thing. But he really knows both, and he's coming on Friday night. We have another guest lined up as well to come on he's a Newcastle fan. I'm really looking forward to speaking to both of them.
Yourself, Chris, and them two lads?
No, myself and Luke. Chris is still on his Olliers. He's back home Friday, but he's not back on the show. It'll be myself and Luke on Friday night. You should be on Thursday night. What you need to do really is find a setup for Matt, so that Matt can join in on his phone or something for his tour of Ireland and see how he's getting on.
I think we're meeting up next Monday anyway to watch the United game. So hopefully we get to win then. The good thing about your show on Friday as well, Gav will be back. So all the fancy graphics and
all the
league tables and all that, and we'll be back as well.
But we can stop stressing about making sure the shows go on. But it's been brilliant. Yeah, exactly. It's been brilliant.
I think we've done okay while the boss is away.
Yeah, we've kept the place going. There's nothing's got canceled. There's no show didn't go ahead.
Winners and losers last week was absolutely.
That was hilarious.
If you guys haven't, 10 minutes of it was absolutely hilarious.
If anyone hasn't seen it
on the phone and everything.
If anyone hasn't seen it, go back if you click on the YouTube channel, go down the shows until you see last week's winners and losers. I'll tell you what, it's the best hour of a podcast that you are likely to sit down and listen to tomorrow, because it'll just take you away totally from the problems that Liverpool are going through at the minute. It's well worth it. It's definitely well worth it if you haven't seen it. It's a great show.
Good stuff. So look, we'll leave it there. Another week, another draw for Liverpool. On to next Monday, where we're going to smash United. Thanks very much for joining us on Full Time Reds. We'll talk to you soon.